Hello, investors. It is Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Tuesday, December 3rd, 4:24 p.m. Eastern Time. Coming to you with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Market state, uptrend, nothing has changed there. And if we look at the trend gauge, exactly what we want to see, the four coveted green arrows. And if you're tuning in for the first time, a brief synopsis of this is that market leaders, this is how we analyze what we deem as the leading stocks in the market. Green arrow means they're acting well, and we're in grow mode, actively seeking to buy new stocks, add on to positions. Short term, the indexes are trading above the 21-day exponential moving average. Medium term, we are trading above the 50-day moving average, and long term above the 200-day moving average. So four coveted green arrows, that's what we like to see. What happened today? Big tech, definitely a highlight of today. And then many of the leaders, CRDO gapped up over 40%, and that provided some fuel to some other related names such as A-Lab, which we own in-house. But here are the final numbers. 21 over 21 list up 1.04%, 15 green, 1 flat, 5 red. Big 8 up 0.76%. You can see the outperformance on the scoreboard here, especially. RG8 down 0.15%. S&P tight range day to day up 0.05%. RSP down 0.44%. QQQ up 0.31%. Equal weight down 0.2%. Dow Jones Industrial Average down 0.19%, mid caps down 0.29%, Russell 2000 down 0.7%, 60/40 stock and bond up 0.02%, and in-house GROTECTION up 0.75% on the day. As usual, we'll hop into some inter-asset correlation. S&P 500 and just continue to hover right at all-time highs. Good action, continue to build higher lows, and the trend remains up. And we are about 3.5% extended from the 50-day moving average right now. There is still room to the upside right here when we pulled back after hitting 660.17. We were 4.7. Then, back here, 4.8. So nevertheless, the trend's good. We'll take a look at the 60-minute. And yeah, looks good after, filled this gap right here and just moving higher. And you can see on the intraday, just, very tight range day. And as the VIX gets lower, the ATR, the S&P 500 continues to contract. So we'll see smaller ranges. RSP pulling back to the 8 still looks healthy. Just might need some digestion here. QQQ definitely outperformance today, and some of the names and big tech are breaking out, but this one looks good. And you can see this is very minor, but minor hook back above the 21-day on the RS line. And in the past, when we've got these hookups, got one here, this led to that, up into this 515. And then it's just a subtle thing that sometimes you'll see signaling that big tech might want to lead, and many of the big components of the ETF agree as well. And then that brings me to Mag 7, beautiful breakout out of this flat consolidation base here, and retested the top of this base and moving higher, very nice there. Dow Jones just pulling back to the 8 EMA, looks good. Mid caps kind of, forming a flag here. We'll see if they resolve to the upside, but good action. I mean, when you get 1, 2, 5 days up in a row, super powerful, sometimes tough to buy into that. So now getting a pullback, which is healthy. Russell 2000, same thing. To set up, 5 strong up days in a row, totally normal to be pulling back and starting to flag out here. And as this is pulled back, we've seen money flow back into big tech, and that's the life. And that's what you see in a bull market. One sector leads, then it starts to pull back, it gets extended, you see rotation into another, and that's just exactly what you want to see. This continues to be a great spot to be in the market right now, continuing higher out of this continuation flag. And if we look at, some big arc names like I've seen Roblox is coming back up, doing quite well. You got Zoom, Unity. I don't even know all the ones off the top of my head, but this definitely money flowing into some of these old growth names. VIX continues to bleed lower, flat on the day, but still sub 14. Dollar still strong, kind of forming a flag here. We just continue to monitor some of these macro indicators. But for now, the market has not been concerned about this big rally in the dollar. Gold looks like it's bear flagging here against the 50-day moving average. Just, there's a time and place for commodities. And when you have great action and leaders and growth stocks, it's really a distraction to try to, focus on gold. But we watch it, obviously. GDX, again, kind of in no man's land. Silver popping up today, but still no man's land. Got this declining 50-day above. Bitcoin, one of the better looking setups in the market right now, flagging. And Bitcoin itself is still slightly below 100,000. So we finally get that 100,000 break, could bring some FOMO, and you could see a big move there. Bonds rejecting the 50-day, TLT, 50 days back below the 200-day, rejecting. Rates pulled back a little bit and trying to put an upside reversal candle today. Same thing here off the 200-day moving average. We'll see if they do anything. So that is the interasset correlation. So that's that. We'll take a look at the tau of the tape. Let's see. So percent of stocks above the 5-day moving average. So this is coming lower. Last week it got quite overbought, and now this is coming back into neutral, and that is a attractive landscape for stocks. When this starts to come down and many names consolidate via time versus price, then you get some of those flags to shape up and work off some of those extensions. So good there. And we have the NASI hooking up. News-wise, a lot of earnings today after the close. I'll take a look when I get into the charts, but CRM, Marvel, Okta, and then I did mention that positive reaction from CRDO, and I'll show that one as well. Trading today is a consolidation day, 8 days above the 8, 11 days above the 21. Action just very tight range day. That ATR in the S&P 500 continues to contract, and us position traders in some volatile stocks, that can be the perfect scenario when you see that indexes just slow grind up and then leaders outperform. Sectors wise, FNGU, that's comprised of a lot of big tech names. That was strong today. And then you had software bouncing off the 8. Oil was up today, silver, chat, which is just a generative AI ETF. I can show that as well. And then weakness, transports, biotech, regional banks, semiconductors still struggling to make a move, and Nvidia is just kind of rejecting the 21-day today. Industrials, financials, staples all weak as well, with rates up a little bit today, seeing some of those sensitive names down. And then in-house, we just added a starter position in BE, brought our adjusted beta up to 2.01. And bottom line, big tech showing relative strength as of late. Leaders continue higher. So let's get into some of the charts. All right. So in-house, BE took a starter on this one, right? Super powerful move up, and pulling back. You had this 60-minute stochastic, pretty buried, hooking back up, declining tops trend line here. And if you look at this weekly, this was like just a huge range break. This downtrend line going all the way back to 2021, broke it on convincing volume here on that news. And then, could put in like a 3 weeks tight here, but holding the gains really well. And this one was the first kind of pullback opportunity after it's kind of been on a frozen rope up. So that one, great action there. And then CRDO, I wanted to mention this closed the day up 47% on 586% above average volume. They had an awesome guide, and that's what prompted it. And one thing I did want to mention is, some webinars that we've seen on earnings gaps, especially from JT from Ticker Monkeys talked about it. But the best ones right off the open, they never break the opening range lows. And as you can see, opened up at about it opened around 64, $65, never even put pressure on that opening low and ripped all day. And the best horses don't go back into the starting gate. And this one, yeah, really good. Checked a lot of boxes, and this one is good for some of the AI names. You can look at ALAB. This one just massively powerful day today, breaking out of this flag up 13% on 76% above average volume. We own this in-house and continues to move out of this IPO base. And then you had another one like CLS, nice upside reversal here, looks good as well. So that was that. Take a look at some of the ERs after the close. CRM reported they are currently up 7% after hours. Great chart, one of the leaders in the software. Okta, this is a broken chart. This is a broken chart, but this one's up 20% at 97. So it's getting back above the 200-day moving average. So, that could be a turnaround situation. Good to see there. And then Marvell, this one's up 10%. So good action across the boards in ERs, and that's what you always want to see. We'll take a look at some of these big techs. Meta was very strong today, just breaking out of this base, broke out of this downtrend line and through 602.95 highs. I mean, super strong 2 days there. You have Amazon. Amazon's setting up. It's trying to take out these highs here. Apple is working on a nice base breakout. And then you got names like Microsoft, obviously a laggard, but look how tight these moving averages are. I mean, they're within 2 points of each other. So this could be working for some expansion here soon. And obviously this has quite a lot of room to the upside if it wants, and that should carry cues. FNGS, this is another one. This has got some FANG index plus another couple names breaking out of a nice base. And then Google is another one. One of the probably the worst looking one in no man's land. Tesla acting well at highs, kind of forming this little box consolidation, which might need a little bit longer, but nevertheless, it looks really good. And then I did mention chat. This is just generative AI ETF coming out of a nice little base here. So good action there. We'll take a look at semiconductors. Still living below the 50 and 200 day. And then NVIDIA, you're getting back above the 21 just about today. So what we'd like to see is this get through 141 with volume. And it has been basing for some time. So maybe this one starts to get the bid again into year end. And one thing we talk about on our calls is if some funds are chasing performance into year end, where's the easiest place for them to go? Well, that's big tech, liquid, good numbers, and Meta is a prime example. This is an easy name for big institutions to pile into, and we've seen that the last 2 days. Take a look at the 21 over 21. ALAB mentioned this one, super powerful. Palantir again. You think these stocks are extended, but they say no, breaking out of this short consolidation. And that's why, we preach you never know how high stock can go. So trial with the moving averages is the best way after you trim into strength. And from this gap on Palantir, it hasn't really closed 2 days below the 21-day moving average. And if you thought it was extended here, I mean, sure it was, but we're in a strong market, and sometimes just let those moving averages guide you. Reddit, another strong one. We own this in-house, very similar to ALAB, kind of breaking out of this flag. Mentioned that one. Twilio, super strong again, and again extended, but just riding the moving averages higher. Snowflake, this one could be setting up for an ad, like how it's building higher lows. The AEMA's caught up, and this is in a multi-day consolidation. And this volume on the earnings gap definitely tells the story that this thing's maybe turning around. Team just trending higher. VRT pulling back to the 21-day could be a good risk to reward. Deckers, we've noted the strength in retail. Deckers coming out of the space. Look at names like Victoria's Secrets, Power Trend, ANF is trying to come back against this downtrend line. And then you got like, believe, yeah, TJ Maxx looks good. So strength in that sector. Carvana flagging at the highs. LNG, still a lot of strength in some of these natural gas names. You can look at EQT as well, pulling back to the 21-day, worth a watch. And these could be good diversification to a portfolio and as they're working. Sprouts Farmers Markets trending higher. Toast just continues to ride higher. Bitcoin, ITB pulling back to the 50-day, flagging a little bit. Bros, good action here, continuing higher. XPO, another one, looking to merge out of this low flat base. Tesla, obviously had that news that Delaware didn't approve Musk's pay package, but it kind of shrugged it off. And this one continues to consolidate. I think this is gearing up for a move. MicroStrategies working off this big climax top candle. And as long as this holds above the 21-day, it looks good. And if Bitcoin takes a shot for 100K, I'd imagine this sees some more upside. SMR in the nuclear modular reactors breaking the 21-day. This one could undercut and reclaim, so we're watching that one for that as well. So that is the 21 over 21 list. And that is everything I have for you guys today. That is going to wrap it. As always, like to hear from you. My email is connor@revereasset.com. And you can always reach out to Dan or Don at revereasset.com. Phone is 855 Real Wealth. That is 855-732-5932. And if you're ever interested in becoming a client or want to know, reach out, get more insight in what we do at Revere, or if you want a complimentary portfolio review, you can always reach out. And with that, I'll wrap it for Tuesday, December 3rd. This is Connor Bates with Revere Asset Management, telling it like it is. Thanks for listening. Have a great evening.